Assalamu alaikum viewers, a very warm welcome to Global Affairs. In our exclusive interview series today, we have a very special guest with us. We have His Excellency Yerzhan Kistafin, who is Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Kazakhstan to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. A very warm welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
So, Excellency, I would like to start with bilateral relations. Pakistan was among the very first countries in the world that recognized Kazakhstan in 1991 as a sovereign state. Moreover, since 1994, the Embassy of Republic of Kazakhstan has been functioning in Islamabad. How do you view the bilateral relations between Kazakhstan and Pakistan?
Thank you for your question. So when it comes to cooperation between our two countries, I must say that we have developed an excellent dialogue at the political level. Our leadership, for example, the last meeting that took place in September in Dushanbe between our President, His Excellency Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, and your Prime Minister, His Excellency Imran Khan, they discussed our bilateral agenda. And I must say that both sides agreed that we need to diversify and strengthen our ties. It is true that, as I said, we have an excellent relations at the political level, but at the same time, we need to develop our trade relations, our people-to-people, our ties between universities, so on and so forth. I must say that today we have a positive dynamic in terms of developing our bilateral trade. If in 2020 our bilateral trade, according to US statistics, was about 103 million US dollars, last year we almost reached 200 million US dollars. I mean that the trade is growing, the interest is growing. For the first time in November last year, we organized a 2-day business forum, inviting our Pakistani brothers to come to Kazakhstan, to Almaty. And most of them visited our country for the first time. And as they say, it was a great opportunity to see with their own eyes a great potential we have in terms of developing our cooperation.
That's great. Excellency, you have been serving as the ambassador of Kazakhstan to Pakistan since 2021. So what is your vision regarding this official assignment, this responsibility?
I would say that when we talk about developing relations between our two countries, Kazakhstan and Pakistan, it is not only about our bilateral trade or investment partnership. It is something bigger and deeper. Our nations cooperated for centuries, and then somehow we lost this connection. So I believe now it's time to start a brand new chapter in the history of our bilateral relations. This year is a very a special year for our relations. This year we celebrate the 30th anniversary of establishment diplomatic relations between Kazakhstan and Pakistan. And I believe that we have to do our utmost to bring our two nations closer to each other. When I say this, I mean that we should not only be focused on, again, our bilateral trade, but also we should develop our cultural ties. We should develop, ties between our universities. In general, we should be focused on developing our people-to-people dimension. And we should raise awareness of our communities about the opportunities we have in terms of developing cooperation between our countries, and I'm pretty sure that we will be able to finally strengthen our ties and bring our relations to a new level. Last year in December, your government announced that they approved our request to operate flights between our two countries, and I hope that this year finally we will relaunch direct flights between our countries. We are planning to start from our two most populous business hubs, Almaty and Karachi, and I'm pretty sure that direct flights will help us to boost bilateral trade, people-to-people ties, cooperation between our universities, so on and so forth.
That's great. Excellency, in the 31 years of independence, poverty in Kazakhstan has been reduced to negligible numbers. The literacy rate is one of the highest in the world, and the country is also one of the biggest oil suppliers in the world. What are the main factors that led to the uplift and this huge success of the country?
From the very beginning, the leadership of our country was in favor of implementing political reforms. And I must say that political reforms helped us a lot in terms of economic development, because without political reforms, without developing, improving your political system, it is, in my opinion, extremely difficult to develop economic potential of your country. And our president, His Excellency Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, recently on March 16th addressed the nation at the Parliament of Kazakhstan and announcing a new package of political reforms. He's planning to limit his own power as a president, and his idea to strengthen the role of the Parliament of Kazakhstan, making this institution as the main body in terms of moving forward our political agenda. His another idea is to strengthen local authorities, local representative bodies. He's planning to ease the procedures for establishing political parties in our country. So his final goal is to make our political system as transparent as it possible, and to make finally our governments accountable before our community, before our society, and to engage our civil society in the, in terms of developing our domestic policy, in terms of developing our foreign policy, in terms of developing our economic policy, to make these ties between civil society and our government as close as it can be.
That is really impressive. I believe that is something that other nations should also replicate. That
Yes.
is a good model. So, Excellency, we'll be coming towards some bilateral trade questions now. So, where does Pakistan-Kazakhstan bilateral trades stand as of now, and how can it be further enhanced? What are the main sectors in this context?
So, as I said, last year we almost reached $200 million. But in my opinion, we still far below from the real potential that we have. When it comes to developing bilateral trade, I have about 6-7 areas in my mind for developing our cooperation that could be mutually beneficial. It is about textile industry. It is about pharmaceutical industry, agriculture, surgical instruments, IT sector, construction sector. And these sectors, it's well known that Pakistan is one of the leading country in the region, if not in the world, in terms of developing textile industry or pharmaceutical industry. Our president several times stressed that in Kazakhstan we have to develop our agricultural sector and we have to develop our pharmaceutical industry. He says that agriculture can serve as another driver for economic development of Kazakhstan, taking into account your great experience, taking into account your great history in this term. I believe that your experience could be extremely beneficial and extremely useful for our country.
Similarly, in the same context, what are the sectors in which Kazakhstan can be helpful for Pakistan?
I believe, again, it's about agriculture. It's about energy resources. It's well known that Kazakhstan is rich of, oil, gas, coal, uranium, so on and so forth. So what we need to do, for example, in terms of developing our cooperation in energy sector, we need to develop our regional infrastructure. That's what we are trying to do. Our brothers in Uzbekistan recently they announced that they started this constructing of the railroad connecting Uzbekistan, the southern city of Termez, with Peshawar via Afghanistan. Kazakhstan officially has joined this project, and I believe such kind of projects, regional connectivity is the name of the game, and such kind of projects can be kind of game changer not only for Kazakhstan and Pakistan but for the whole region.
No doubt about that. Excellency, Pakistan provides natural link to connect Central Asia with the Arabian Sea and the South Asia. So what prospects does Kazakhstan see with regards to CPEC in the larger context of the Belt and Road Initiative, and how can the port of Gwadar be beneficial for the people of and businesses of Kazakhstan?
Again, our president instructed our government and he said that we need to develop and increase significantly our transit and export potential. And in this term, Kazakhstan being the largest landlocked country in the world, for Kazakhstan, Pakistan can serve as a regional hub in terms of getting access to the warm waters. And in this term, I must say that CPEC can help a lot. And using CPEC, we could have this finally, I would say, the shortest route to warm waters, and via your seaports, we can have access to the populous markets of the African states and Southern Eastern Asian states as well.
That's great. Excellency, there is also a huge potential of linking Islamabad and Nur Sultan through a connection of railways, which include Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Pakistan, Iran, Turkey railway networks. So it would be very much in line with Kazakhstan's new economic policy of Neurless Zone and China-Pakistan economic corridor here in Pakistan. So do you see any prospects of such initiatives?
You see, I think that in terms of our regional connectivity between Kazakhstan and Pakistan, there are, I would say, three main routes. The first one is the Karakorum Highway. The second one is the route that goes through the Afghan soil, and the last one that you mentioned through the Iranian soil. We should develop our transit routes. Without transit routes, it will be impossible to develop our bilateral trade. It is extremely important, and I believe that now we are more focused on developing this route through Afghanistan. And I believe that if we complete construction of this railroad that I mentioned earlier, we will be able to significantly boost our trade. I'll give you just one example. About 2 years ago, your country approached our site and we were asked to think of start exporting of our wheat, Kazakh wheat, to Pakistan. But unfortunately, due to the absence of this routes, rail links, we weren't able to realize this project and finally to start exporting Kazakh wheat to Pakistan. With this rail link, we can do a lot. It's well known again that Kazakhstan is in top 10 among world wheat exporters. So, and we know that the demand here in Pakistan is growing in terms of wheat, in terms of energy resources, so on and so forth. In Kazakhstan, has everything you need. So what we need to do, we need to connect to each other via our friends in the region, via other countries. And we, of course, again, as I said, it could be extremely mutually beneficial cooperation between our countries.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Excellency, last month, Kazakhstani business delegation visited the Rawalpindi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, led by you, and it included representatives from the construction, education, food, healthcare, and pharmaceutical sectors to look into trading opportunities between the two countries. What promising prospects do the two states view with regards to it? What outcomes can we expect from such interactions?
You see, my main idea was to invite our business people to make them aware of these opportunities and great potential in your beautiful country. To be honest with you, I didn't expect that right after these meetings we would sign, contracts and start developing our cooperation. The main idea was to raise awareness about the opportunities that we have. And as I said, in November we organized this business forum, and now our Pakistani friends, they know what Kazakhstan is and what potential we have. Just exactly the same I was planning to do when I invited my Kazakh friends from the business circles to come to Pakistan to visit not only Rawalpindi, we visited Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Lahore and Karachi, and now they know that the great potential that we have in terms of developing our cooperation. So in May we are planning to organize a single country exhibition called Made in Pakistan 2022 in Almaty. It will be a 5-day event. Prior to this exhibition, we are planning to hold a business forum. This time from Pakistan we expect about between 150 and 200 people to come. It will be a big event. And now our business people from Kazakhstan, Now they know what Pakistan is, and they will be ready to host our Pakistani brothers and to discuss, our bilateral collaboration. I must say that almost on daily basis, I receive different requests from the business community of Pakistan with different ideas, different projects to be implemented between our countries. And I'm happy to say that the interest is growing. The awareness about these opportunities is growing, and we have to keep this ball rolling in terms of strengthening ties between our business communities. Business people, they are very smart. They know what to do. They don't need any approval from the government. If they see that this project is beneficial, this project is interesting and could be beneficial for both sides. They will do everything to to implement this project. They will find they will find a solution to each and every challenge that they face in this time.
That is really great initiative.
Yeah.
I believe it is removing the barriers that
Yes,
exist
exactly.
between the Pakistani community and the Kazakh community.
As I said, the main challenge that we need to address today is the lack of information.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to distribute, spread information about Kazakhstan here in Pakistan, and I'm trying to spread information about your beautiful country in Kazakhstan. Because, many people, my friends, they are always asking me, are you okay? Are you safe in Islamabad, in Pakistan? And I always, replied that you just have to come and see with your own eyes the real situation on the ground, because it has nothing to do with this image that we have today. It's a kind of misperception of your beautiful country.
Exactly.
That's why I believe that we have to establish as many direct communication lines as we can.
Exactly. Excellency, let's move towards people-to-people interaction between the two countries.
Yeah.
So, in a visit to Institute for Strategic Studies Islamabad,
Yeah.
as a chief guest, you highlighted the lack of information about each country in the other as a challenge
Yes.
in expanding bilateral
Yeah.
cooperation. You underlined 3 pillars: collaboration between universities, collaborations between think tanks,
Yes.
and engagement between media of the two countries.
Yes.
Through these mediums, both countries can deepen people-to-people ties and enhance bilateral relations, as you said. How can the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Pakistan facilitate the stakeholders from both sides in this context?
The main mission of any embassy in the world, the main mission of any ambassador in the world is to serve as a mediator between two countries. So this is what I'm trying to do. I met several times with the Minister of Information, Mr. Fahad Chowdhury. Several times I met with Minister of Information of Kazakhstan. We discussed possible prospects for developing cooperation between our countries in the media space, and we agreed that we need to sign an MOU between these two ministries to create a legal framework for developing cooperation between our, TV channels, radios, newspapers, so on and so forth, to establish, again, as I said, direct communication lines for interaction, for exchanging information. And we could, broadcast TV programs, movies, TV shows dedicated to culture, beauty of our nature, about business opportunities, about history, so on and so forth. This is I would say, as of today, this is one of the main tasks that we need to complete. So when it comes to people, it's well known that Pakistan is one of the youngest nations in the world. About 63% of your great population belongs to young people. That's why I believe that if we want to build a solid foundation for the long-term perspective, we should be also focused on developing ties between our youth, between our young people. That's why I'm in favor of developing cooperation between our universities. And we also should develop cooperation between youth organizations. And another idea is to develop sports diplomacy. It's well known that sports diplomacy is one of the best tools in terms of bringing closer young people. In November, our female team participated in the tournament, Taekwondo international tournament organized by our Pakistani friends. And again, it was a very good chance to make them see what the modern Pakistan is. the beauty of your country. Before coming to Islamabad, as they said, they didn't know what to expect. But when they came, they saw great hospitality, very friendly people, and there is nothing to be scared of. And I'm really happy to say that again these people have now another image of your beautiful country. That's why I believe that the sports diplomacy, we should organize competitions, tournaments on regular basis between our young people, and I believe it will create this ties of friendship between our young generations.
That's great. Excellency, let's move towards defense and military cooperation. So, where does Pakistan and Kazakhstan stand in terms of defense and military relations at the moment?
When it comes to military cooperation, I must say that this part of our bilateral interaction is one of the most developed. And on regular basis, we organize meetings, talks between our servicemen, between our ministers of defense. Last year we organized joint drills, and we have such kind of joint trainings on regular basis. We are developing cooperation between our defense universities. So I must say again, as I said, this partnership in military area is one of the most dynamic and one of the most developed.
That's great. Excellency, in terms of tourism,
Yes.
if we talk about tourism, both Pakistan and Kazakhstan have immense tourism potential. What initiatives have been taken or can be taken in order to facilitate Pakistani tourists planning to visit Kazakhstan and Kazakh tourists planning to visit Pakistan?
The first issue that we need to resolve is to relaunch direct flights between our countries. I hope, inshallah, with support of your government, finally, this year we will be able to relaunch direct flights. Without direct flights, it will be impossible, extremely difficult, I would say, to develop our cooperation in tourism. In November, for the first time, we organized online session between PTDC, Pakistan Tourism Development Corporation, and Kazakh Tourism. These two organizations are responsible for developing tourism in our countries. We also invited to this online session tour operators from both sides. So our idea is to develop step-by-step collaboration and to establish again direct links between our tour operators, to make them work together, to make them collaborate, and finally to have this kind of packages for our tourists. I see that again here in Pakistan, the interest to my country is growing. And what we need to do, again, via cooperation between our media communities, we should deliver this information and we should spread information about the beauty of nature of our two countries. And I believe it will help significantly in terms of raising awareness of our people about our countries.
Thank you so much, Excellency. At the last, what message would you like to give to the people of Pakistan and Kazakhstan?
You know, my message under the aegis of the 30th anniversary of establishment diplomatic relations between our countries, I would welcome our Pakistani brothers and sisters to come to Kazakhstan. I would welcome both countries to contribute greatly into strengthening ties and finally to revive brotherly relations between our countries for the benefit of our region.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Dear friends, I'm happy to say that it is a great honor for me to collaborate with the brilliant team of the Global Affairs magazine, one of the best, one of the most interesting magazines in Islamabad and in Pakistan. And I hope you will enjoy reading about my country, not only about my country, but in general about international affairs in this magazine. You will find a lot of information, and I hope it will be useful for you. Please read the Global Affairs. Pakistan-Kazakhstan Zindabad.